Now, Found Hope says AI is way overhyped and overvalued. I was talking with my sister and said as much a few weeks ago. She listened to my points. She sold her position in NVIDIA. A week later, it dropped 20%. Dangerous conversation. I mean, I tip my hat to you if you want to be trying to make stock market predictions amongst family. That's been known to backfire pretty badly. But I'm glad in your case it has worked out well. But then again, if NVIDIA doubles in value in the next 12 months, you might be having a slightly different conversation with her next Christmas. I'm just saying.
I will say this because I know Found Hope's a fan of AI, and that's fine. Like, you cannot be a fan of it. But what I will say is we are at the infancy of AI, right? Like, there's going to be the gimmicky things. I said this on my Instagram stories last night. There's always going to be the gimmick things. And like, you think back to the time when we got the internet into our own homes, right? Like personal computing. And you had really like rudimentary programs like Microsoft Encarta or Publisher and things like that. They paved the way for your Adobe Photoshop. So they paved the way for, online news channels and things like that. But in the beginning, it was kind of cute. It was very kitsch. AOL Messenger and all that sort of stuff gave way for MSN, which now gave way to Facebook, right?
Yeah.
AI has only scratched the surface. And in the 18 months that I studied it, watching how quickly it changed and how quickly there's different iterations of the same model popping out and all these people putting money behind it, I think the AI that everyone thinks it is, like, ChatGPT and image gen, that's the gimmick part of it. That's not the real AI.
I think the other mistake that people make with technology is that they think it will grow through its infancy into a pure maturity. And lose all of that infancy. And it doesn't. It never does, because there's always areas that are being pushed and being progressed. And also the humans using these technologies are still very much depraved, infantile beings. It is no surprise to anybody that the number one purpose of the internet, now that we've had it for 20 plus years, is still pornography. Right. Okay. It was one of the first things that we did with the internet, and it's one of the things we continue. It takes up more bandwidth than any other single market sector.
And porn. They're the two things that AI will blossom in.
And AI will continue to be used for infantile purposes. It will be used so that people can have fake AI girlfriends. It will be used so that people can do scams on each other and do more advanced ways of tricking and scamming and making money. All of those things will be true, and they'll continue to be true. It's not going to go through that and leave that behind. I was just talking with my mum earlier today, and she's been sucked in by a few fake news things over the years and this and that. And, she tries to get wiser about it. And we were just talking yesterday because she got sucked in by something recently. And, it wasn't a big deal. It was a fake news story that she sent to me. And I looked at it for about 30 seconds and went, my spider senses are tingling. A little tiny bit of research and very quickly demonstrated it was just made up for clicks. And, she doesn't often get caught out anymore, but she got caught out by this one. People's awareness of these things improves. The audience education sort of happens automatically as people learn from experience. But ultimately, we are still human and we are still vulnerable. So all of that side of AI will never go away. But the other side is that it's going to be driving forward the rate at which, there was a comment here by Phonic Photon. AI is just a quicker aggregator of words, basically a quicker search engine. At its most foundational level, that's true. But what gets built on top of that, what can be done with that, is phenomenal. In the end, a microprocessor is just a counting machine. At a foundational level, it's just a machine for counting. But what's being done with that counting is completely mind-blowing and doesn't look like counting at all. The same is going to be true with AI. I'm really excited for it because the productivity side of AI is phenomenal. We've talked a lot about that. I don't want to dive down that rabbit hole again. But there was a comment that you brought up just a second ago, someone saying, I'm an artist and I have no idea how to use AI. The gap between people who know how to use the internet and people who don't is massive. The gap between people who know how to use AI and who don't is going to be bigger. This is a really, really important thing. We need to get through our heads that AI is to our generation like a smartphone was to your grandparents, right? It's going to seem alien and uncomfortable. We're going to remember the world before AI. We're probably going to romanticize that world and reminisce about that. Oh, wasn't the world a better place? Our kids and our grandkids will grow up bathed in the stuff. And to not try and keep up is going to mean a very, very big gap between what you can do, the commerce that you can engage in, the opportunities that you have, etc. AI is not something that you want to just ignore.
Yeah. And look, I'll add my 2 cents in. I think the way people perceive AI is based on mainstream media giving out it's generated by AI. You wish, sloth. Unfortunately for the world, I am real and I am here to stay for now.
Sloth,
But
she's not your girlfriend. You're getting her confused.
no, so the way I look at AI, particularly with artists, so Lynette, this is for you and any other artists or creatives in the chat. When I hear people say to me, AI is the death of creativity or it's the death of artists, it's sending artists broke, the first thing I'll say to you is it's just another tool. And if you are taking the first iteration of AI, like you type in a prompt and you get an image and you go, oh, that's my image, then you're no different to every crappy artist that's existed before. And what I mean by that is Da Vinci also had the same paintbrush and paints as every other artist that was around in Italy or France at the time, right? But the key with Da Vinci is he studied things at such a level that no one else had the same persistence as him. And when he started painting, he did underpainting and then he overpainted and he corrected the layers that go into like the Mona Lisa or Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel. It's layers and layers and layers. It's iterations, if you will. So with AI, prompting requires iteration after iteration and then also injecting your own thoughts and voice and vision. And the other thing that people say when it comes to AI and art is that it's copying, right? Like it's plagiarism. Well, it's no different to the data set that you have accumulated in your own mind because of your observations of the world at large. So from you being a small child up until who you are today, what you looked at, what you listened to, what you've engaged with, your brain has stored that to some degree in your brain. And every time you put pen to paper to either write or to draw or to be artistic in any way, you're recalling that information. It's coming out in its own way. That's exactly what AI does. It just does it with far more information and a lot quicker than humans can. So it's exactly the same concept. And I heard someone the other day saying like, oh, AI is going to kill your photography career, Carly. And I said, no, it won't. It's going to make me absolutely untouchable. Because whilst everyone else is over here flapping their gums going AI, 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 I've already had people reach out to me going, Carly, how can I do this? Can we do this? How can we already people are turning to me going, shit, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
That's an incredible commerce opportunity. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And that opportunity is, the world has never had more opportunity than what it does right now. But also the world has never had more competition than what it does right now. Yeah. Every single one of us is now competing on a global stage. It's certainly anyone who's doing anything that can be delivered remotely. We are competing on a global stage, in a global marketplace. So the opportunity is massive. The competition is massive. You need to find a niche and get creative and do it soon because this is an ecosystem and a marketplace that is just going to take off.
So normally on a podcast like this, when you've got two people, one of them is the brains of the operation and the other one's the eye candy. In this case, I have to be both, which is, oi, excuse me, this one's, Carly, this one's about me. I have to be both.
It's actually about me.
Seriously, I have to be both, which means I need lots of coffee, lots of caffeine. So you can help me to get lots of caffeine by scanning that little QR code there so that I can just carry this podcast on my...
And subscribe because I'm ridiculously good looking.
Seriously, Carly, can you not... Wow. She's such a center of attention, isn't she? Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Bye.